What's good? We back at D Lifestyle. Today's video, I wanted to basically explain my journey from start to finish, from enrolling in Coursecareers, getting my certificate, and then landing my job that I currently doing now. Well, I actually start February 7th, but I accepted the job offer last week. So I'm gonna start from beginning to end. The industry of tech sales in general is an industry that I never really knew existed till a couple months ago. I came across a video late November with Anthony Oneal and Cyrus, and this video basically explained how this guy named Cyrus was able to break into tech in less than 3 months or so. And he did it through a boot camp, like a tech sales boot camp for a sales engineer. And this is something I was familiar with because I had an uncle that was taking IT classes. He was in the army, but when he got deployed, I never really heard from him as much because I really wanted to find out information on what I should be looking into, because I didn't want to get scammed, So he explained the different boot camps that are out there, and then he mentioned Coursecareers, and this was the cheaper boot camp. It was around $500. So I did a little bit more research because this is right up my alley. I'm a realtor. I have experience in sales, and this just felt like an industry that I should probably look into. So long and behold, I come across a Coursecareers. They have a whole channel, so I pretty much just watched a lot of the videos that they had posted on there. And what I was noticing, a reoccurring theme were people from either a sales background or no background at all in sales. They are taking this boot camp for Coursecareers, and they're finishing it within a month or two, and then they're landing jobs, remote or hybrid or whatever the case may be, but the pay is worth it, and the pay is a lot. So the rate on your return on you investing into this course and landing a job is like, sky's the limit with the rate of return. So it piqued my interest. Now, it seemed too good to be true, but I didn't want to look at it as that. I just wanted to look at it as, this is an opportunity that, it's in front of me. So I might as well go down this path and see where it takes me. So that's kind of the attitude I've developed over the years. And, especially being in the sales field, something may lead you to another thing, but if you don't take the chance on that thing, you don't know what can happen for you. So I took the chance on it, paid for the course, used Anthony Oneal's link, and I was enrolled in the course by December 1st was when I paid for the course. Mind you, I already had a vision for, how I wanted to finish this course, and, everything, I already had it envisioned, planned, writing, So I didn't just pay for this course and just say, I'm gonna just do this course and see, how I finish, maybe 2 or 3 months. But I wanted to finish in 1 month or less. So I literally planned out to where I can finish in 1 month or less. So I work security. So I work there 4 days out of the week, 8 hours at a time. And it's a very laid back position. So I can actually do work, real estate related work, research related work, just in general. I can do a lot of things while I'm working at this security job. So, it was something easy that I could do it self-paced. So I would literally time myself. I would time myself 3 hours. I would whip out my phone, set it for 3 hours, and then I would take my time in doing this course. So mind you, 3 times 4, I'm putting at least 12 hours a week doing this course. And with that being said, some days I would go a little bit longer than other days. But I would say I got through the material itself within 2.5 weeks. The course was really good. And if you actually, dedicate time to it, you can finish the course in a decent amount of time and really get a lot of knowledge from it. Like, they really jam-pack that knowledge so well, but it's very clear and concise with the information that they give you, and they have it in parts. So what I'll say is, it took me roughly 2.5 weeks to complete this course. By the time I completed this course, I wanted to give myself time to pass the final exam, because they're going to give you a final exam just so they know you know the information, and you're able to translate that information into your new role that you will be looking to apply for. So with that being said, I took at least a good week to study through the material, make sure that I understood everything, made myself a study guide, looked at other people's study guide, and really came to the conclusion that I felt really confident in the knowledge that I knew. And then I did the exam, and then I passed the exam. Now, mind you, it took me a little while to get my grades. Now, I'll give the benefit of the doubt, because there was holiday season. This was going into the New Year's, so it took a couple days, maybe a week, to get my exam. But as I was waiting for my exam, I was starting to apply for companies. At that time, I got an interview for a company for a technology specialist, which was, similar to the role of an SDR. So they, wanted me to interview for them. This was a company that reached out to me. So with that being said, I was like, I'll interview for this company. Even if I don't get the job, at least I'll be able to know how to interview, practice interviewing for a tech sales position, and eventually the right role that I interview for, I will already have basic knowledge in how to interview for these companies. So I took these interviews that were, the people were reaching out to me. And although the pay wasn't really up my alley that I wanted, I still would interview for these companies just so I can get a good practice, on how to communicate with, whoever I'm talking to. That's a good gem, I feel like you guys should do. If you're in this process now, job hunting for SDR role or BDR role, you should interview all the companies that reach out to you, because you'll get practice, and you never know, you may land the job and the benefits or the pay could be worth it, but you never would have known if you just never opened these emails of recruiters that are reaching out to you. Anyways, in the span of all of that, I applied to over 100 companies from the span of me finishing my exam, passing my exam, and then to me landing a job. That whole period of, we'll say January 1st going to January 19th, because that was when I actually accepted the offer. January 1st to January 19th, I was just applying to jobs nonstop, because you never know. You could be interviewing for a company and then they reject you on the second round or the third round. So you never want to not apply for jobs until you actually accepted a job offer. So that was a mission that I knew, I understood the mission. I understood the task. So even as I was applying for these companies, and interviewing for some of these companies, I would always be applying to a lot more companies. So with that being said, you're going to get a lot of rejection. I got a lot of rejection emails from a lot of companies that I don't even remember applying for some of them. But, it kind of gets like that when you're just trying to, get your foot in the door. So out of the hundreds of companies I applied for, I ended up getting to do about 5 interviews. And one of the company that I work for right now, Atmosphere TV, that company actually reached out to me. So I never applied for this company, but the recruiter reached out to me through my email. She viewed my LinkedIn profile. And that's another thing, getting your LinkedIn profile geared towards the role that you want. is really the best gem I can give you, because then recruiters will reach out to you. So you may not even find out about the company, but if they're reaching out to you, now there's an opportunity in your face that they actually want you to interview for. So your chances are likely higher to get hired for this company, or at least get an offer. So I see this I see this email. I got this email from the recruiter for Atmosphere TV. Shout out to Elizabeth. You're amazing, and thank you so much for making that opportunity present to me, because I never knew about Atmosphere. I then became more aware of Atmosphere as I started doing more research. So when the company was on my mind, I did research, went on YouTube, went on Google, researched the company, see okay, it's a startup company. They hire young people from all different backgrounds, different roles. They may not have a background in sales. You could still get hired, you don't need a college degree. And I just like all of those facts. And the work culture, high energy, positive people, they want you to succeed. So I'm like, okay, I wouldn't mind working in an office if the office is like this, So a lot of things pointed out that this could be a really great company for me to work at. And they were hiring for an account executive, which is a step above from SDRs. So this was also a title that could really boost, my career into this tech sales industry. If I plan to stay for this company for some years, but we'll see how things go. I'll make videos, updates, just so you can get an idea of what this role entails as an account executive. But so the first interview I had for this company was January 13th, because I really liked the email and the pay. The pay. They were offering by far the highest pay than other companies. Their base salary was starting at $60K, and then they had OTE of 110 towards the end of the year if you're hitting all your targets. So for me, that was pay I've never seen before from, a job. So it was higher than the other tech companies I was interviewing with. And just the company itself, what they had to offer, just the culture, it really, it caught my attention. So I was like, let me quickly make this interview and not waste no time. So I, scheduled the interview. I interviewed with them January 13th. Now, by that time, I already interviewed with about 2 to 3 companies prior to that interview with Atmosphere. And Parkable was one of my top companies before I interviewed with Atmosphere, simply because their base pay was $55K, OTE of $80K, $85K actually. They were a startup company as well, based in New Zealand. And they were completely remote, and I was looking for remote. But what boosted Atmosphere over Parkable was the culture, the atmosphere. I'm saying their name. I'm getting caught up with their name. Anyway, just the culture of how they treat their employees, and they want you to succeed. They give you really good training. They treat their employees well. And I could sense that with how, they moved quickly on me. They interviewed me, one time. They already had the scheduled interview right after that interview. After that interview, I got the offer the very next day after the second interview. So, they move quick, and I like that, So, when I was first starting out, Parkable was my top choice. Then it ended up becoming Atmosphere, because Parkable was taking a while. And you want to actually be aware of these things when you're interviewing with companies. A company might be taking their sweet time. They may look at you as a number or just another employee, and then another company might actually want you to work with them. They want you to work, for their company, and they'll actually show you with their action. They won't waste your time. They'll actually be about what they're saying. Schedule everything. Everything will be smooth, and you want that. You want to pay attention to those things. You don't want to only just thinking about the salary, but that was a nice icing on top. But just how they treated me, before I even got into the company or even got an offer, they treated me with respect. They really cared about my time. and they made sure that they got me an answer or an update like really quick. So I was already aware of how everything was going to be broken down in terms of start to finish, from getting the offer, training, and starting working. Like they already gave me the vision of what's going to happen next. And I like that. The other companies weren't necessarily, giving me that type of vision. So I could already envision myself working in this company. You get what I mean? So that was a big part for, me choosing this company. So I had the 5 interviews. Within those 5 interviews, I had 2 offers. One was for a technology specialist. It's based here in New Jersey, but they're only on site. The travel was really inconvenient for me, and the pay. It wasn't as, it wasn't as high for what I wanted. So when it came down to it, the offer was there, but I wanted to just see what else I can find, So, eventually Atmosphere came out on top, because, the offer was meeting the criteria of what I wanted. Even though it's on site, they have hybrid options, so I could work from home and in the office. And they gave me a vision on what it would look like to work for this company. And I already did my research, so I really liked what this company had to offer. I liked the product. Like, I really can say I like this company very well. So it was like a win-win situation. And, they were offering the highest pay. The account executive role is like a step up from the role I was looking for. So it just felt like a position from God himself. He put that position in my view, because I would have never known about this role if, Elizabeth never emailed me. Thank you, Elizabeth, for emailing me. Anyways, so after doing all those interviews, interviewed with them on the 13th of January, had my second interview on the 18th of January. So literally 5 days later, had my second interview. I did a little bit of role play on my second interview. I was very nervous, but we got through it. I asked the sales director a little bit about himself, what he liked about the company, just so I could get an idea of what he really likes about this company. Why should I work for this company? Because it's not only about what can you do for this company, it's what can this company do for you. So I liked everything he had to say and the training that they'll be able to offer. So after that interview, I was pretty much sold with this company. I already told myself, if I got the offer for this company, I will take it, and that's it. And that's simple. And I literally got the offer the very next day. So January 19th, we'll say, that's when I got the phone call, and they gave me a formal offer on the phone, and then they emailed me everything else after that. And I'm officially an account executive for Atmosphere TV. And if it wasn't for God and just having the thought of wanting to shift careers or just getting into something new, I would have never come across this video and then them mentioning Coursecareers, and honestly just taking the plunge, having faith in God that, I can actually find an opportunity with this course. And long and behold, I planned to get a job before February. So I already planned everything out, wrote everything down, prayed on it, had faith I would do it, and literally took all the actions and steps that was needed to get it done. So that's another thing. You just can't pray and not do action and not take the necessary steps to get where you want to be. So with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, my journey into tech sales as an account executive. I start the role February 7th officially. So they're going to be flying me out to Austin, Texas to get some training done. And I plan to make a vlog video on it. So hopefully you guys will, catch that, stay tuned for that. like and subscribe this video. Hopefully you guys get some gems out of this. I'll keep you guys updated. Peace. Stay blessed.